this year, some of the newcomers, and also some returning players that you have coming back.
Yeah, so the one returning player that we have coming back is Benisha Billings. She was second team All-League 2 years ago now. And she was actually involved with the big play at the end of our playoff game that year. We had played Owens Community College in the semifinals of the regionals that year. 2 days before that, we had played them in the last game during the regular season, and they beat us by 25. We played them down there, down at Ohio Christian University, which is where they play the neutral site that they had for the playoffs. And she hit a basket with 2 seconds to go in the game. They counted the basket, and then free throw would have won the game for us. And then they decided that the foul took place on the floor and not in the act of shooting. And so she made the first free throw, missed the second free throw. We lose the game by 1. So, so I think she's told me several times that's one of her main sort of drives this season coming up is getting to sort of redeem herself from that one play at the end there. So
yeah, that's hard to have that whole
yeah,
year off to
right,
think about that one last play.
Right. So the other 2 sophomores that we have on the team, I actually know, but not from coaching them. They actually played at Tri-C. And Tri-C is not having a team again this year for the second year in a row. So the 2 of them did not want to sit out another year because that would have been 2 years that they sat out. So Terry Gates and Lovey Herndon, and we know both of them really well. Lovey actually 3 years ago when we played Tri-C over at their place, we were up 6 in the 4th. And she drained 4 3-pointers in the 4th quarter to sink us in that game. So when she called me up and said, "Hey, I'm looking for a school to play at," I said, "Yeah, we'll take you over here right away." So, and she's been her and Terry have both been really great leaders. They've been talking to a lot of the newcomers, about what the league's like, because even though they're new to us over here, they know the league. We're all in the same league. I mean, Tri-C's normally, if they'd be here, they'd be in our league with us. So. So they know the league, they know the coaches, they got a pretty good idea about the teams and things like that. So, so they're looking forward, I think, to having a season back. So, and then in terms of the new players coming in, I think the big one that we've really been surprised with is from North Ridgeville, Nina Welch. I mean, she's a post player who can shoot from the outside. She can put the ball down on the floor. And she is, she's going to be one of our main scoring threats this year. She can score, like I said, from inside. She can score outside. She understands the game really well, high basketball IQ. And she's been involved with all of our open gyms and everything that we've had going on since the middle of the summer. So, so it's a good mix. It's a real good mix. We've got a handful of players from North Ridgeville, a handful of players from Elyria, so that's always a good thing when you've got some players from, the same schools, so they're high school teammates, and now they're going to continue on at the college level and be teammates at the college level, so that's always a good thing in terms of, but this time of the year, it's always a matter of just sort of getting everybody into the same mix. They're all coming from different high school programs where their high school coaches had different philosophies. Now they're coming up here to the college level. In some cases, like Terry and Lovey's case, where not only did they have high school, but then they've already had, the experience that they had over at Tri-C, and now coming in here, just sort of getting used to everybody and, sort of melding it all together in terms of, getting everything sort of connected for that. So that's been the big focus so far in the first couple of weeks.
Last question for me, Coach. You hang your hat offensively on the side of the ball. What is the game plan this year going in offensively? You mentioned some great scorers coming in. I know offense usually takes a little bit to gel before the defense. So how do you plan on implementing your offensive strategy this year?
It's interesting because the last couple of years, we really have averaged a lot of points primarily from the three-point line. This year at the college level, women's, they've moved the three-point line out to where the men's are at. So there is no difference between men's and women's three-point line this year. And I can already see it has taken it's going to be a change. We more than likely are going to be scoring a lot from the inside this year as opposed to from the outside. And my guess is that most of the league's going to have to adapt to that as well. We scrimmaged Bryan and Stratton in here last week, and same thing, they just didn't have that many players shooting from the outside. My guess is you're going to see a lot more teams playing zone this year, primarily because of the fact that the three-point line has been pushed out. And, I know when the NCAA instituted that and said the reason we're moving it out is because we want to open up the women's game a little bit more. I don't know. We'll see. I just think that's going to result in more zone defenses being played, but we'll see. We'll see how it transfers over into once we get into the season. So.
Should be interesting, Coach, and we'll be keeping an eye on you guys. Thanks for joining me today.
Sure.
For WOBL, WDLW Radio, Coach Vince Granito, head coach of the LCC Lady Commodores.
And Coach, obviously you said you've been coaching 32 years. Something like last season that never happened before. What are some maybe unique challenges you feel coming into this year as opposed to normal years?
Well, I think one of the biggest is, and this was very evident yesterday because they came out with the all-league stuff, and first of all, there are probably 3 or 4 new coaches in the league, which I don't know how you even vote in terms of players and teams and things like that without even knowing, everybody else that's in the league. So that was probably the biggest thing is, I have no idea what other teams have coming back. And, normally the first couple of years I was here, okay, that girl's a freshman, we're going to have to deal with that player coming up over the next couple of years. This year it's just wide open. So it's a matter of, a lot of teams. I'm sure some of the teams saw, I think I saw Lovey Herndon was all defensive player, preseason all defensive player. And so I'm sure there's a couple of coaches there who are like, wait a minute, we recognize that name, because she was in this league, like I said, 3 years ago, only playing at Tri-C as opposed to playing here. So they're probably like, oh, that's interesting that her name is resurfacing again here in the league. So, yeah. So that's probably the biggest.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And just, just kind of moving forward, simply put, how nice is it just to be back?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I think, just being back here in the gym and, we started open gyms during the summertime. So it was just great being back here in the gym. It's been great to have players saying, hey, let's go a little bit longer in practice. Can we stay here and shoot around a little bit? So, I think they're as excited as everybody else. So we're at a point where, 3 weeks from today is our opening game. So, we're counting down the days to getting going again. So.